Hi, third grade. This is Kay. Today I can't be here, so I'm really sorry. You have a sub today, but I know you guys are going to do great with the sub. I still expect good behavior, so I'm hoping to get a good report. I'll be in later today, so I'll kind of ask and see how you guys did. But I figured we could do a video. That way you can follow along with me, and hopefully this will help answer any questions you might have. And then also the sub is there to help you. But we are working on our robot. So here's my examples that are on the board. Here's my primary color robot, and this one's finished. As you can see, it's finished painted, and then we'll put it on construction paper, but you probably won't do that today. We just want to get it finished drawing and hopefully finished painted today. Here's where I hope you get to today. You have it drawn and it's on the white paper still, and it looks great. So this part of our project is we have kind of a blank robot, and we need to add all the details in. So you can see the difference. Here's my blank one. This is kind of where yours robot looks. This is where we need to be. So you guys have some fun. You can always pause the video, but I'm going to show you just a couple of quick things. I'm going to put this down so you can see. Here's my blank robot. You guys obviously use pencil. I'm using a Sharpie just so you can see a little bit better. But obviously you are going to Sharpie marker your robots once we have all this finished. But mine's not done yet because I still have to add face, details, stuff like that. So you can design your robot any way you like. Doesn't matter to me. It could be however you want to make it. I'm just looking for a robot that fills the page. So it should go all the way to the bottom and reach the top. And if it doesn't, add things. Add, a funky hairdo or antennas, or add rocket boosters or things at the bottom just to fill the page. So I've got my robot here. Let's give him his little robot face. This kind of reminds me of Halloween. It looks like a jack-o'-lantern, but that's fine. I'll give him some antennas. Maybe he's going to be a Halloween robot. I don't know. And then you also want to add some things. You can add some fun things in the body of the robot. What does your robot do? Does your robot fight crime? Is your robot just like a fun friend robot? These are all like little buttons. Maybe I'm going to put some, it's like a computer. Okay. And mine's going to be a TV robot. So this is going to be a TV with a TV show on. I don't know. Just playing around with some ideas. So now I have it decorated the way I like it, and now I'm going to add some shading. So if you look at my example here, we're going to use watercolor paints. Well, watercolor paints are really hard to make the shadow lines. So instead of trying to add in that black paint, because we know how watercolor paints kind of blend, we're going to use our Sharpie markers to add shadows. And there's a certain way to do this. This is called cross-hatching. So you can see how I kind of made the sides of my shapes darker. That's going to make our shapes pop out and look more realistic. And we're going to do this, it's called cross-hatching. So I'm going to get a new piece of paper to show you. So most kids, here's a cube. Obviously, I'm drawing quickly. Here's a cube. You don't want to just color this in, because then it doesn't really look like a cube. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't look as realistic. What we're going to do instead is make kind of a shadow. Shadows aren't normally pure black. They're kind of a grayish color, like they're darker. So we're going to do some cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is when you add just some lines close together. Okay, and to make the one side darker, you're going to go the other way. Now I've got a little more of a realistic cube. It looks like it's kind of fuzzy because it's in shadow. So we're going to try that with our robots. I did it on this one and this one. This one I just did some diagonal lines. You can just do some diagonal, or you can do it both ways. So you can do it cross-hatching really close together so it looks like this, or you can cross-hatch. It's called cross-hatching because you're crossing over like that. Okay, so this one is a little bit lighter, this one's darker, and it's just a better way than going like this, right? This is like not as neat. This looks a little bit nicer. Okay, so we're going to do that too. So what I want you to do is I want you to have your whole robot finished. Okay, don't do any of the cross hatching, don't do any of the shadows on here on the sides yet, and then Sharpie marker the whole thing. So it should look exactly like mine. If you'd like, the sub can pause the video at this point So you can get this drawn up, Sharpied, and then when you're ready and everything's Sharpied and beautiful, you can start doing the shadows, the cross hatching. So I would say it's about a good time to pause, and then you can come back, okay? So when you're ready, you can add in the shadows. I recommend not using a pencil for this, because if you try to cross hatch with a pencil and then try to cross hatch with a Sharpie over it, it just becomes really messy. I would just skip the pencil for this project, for this part, and just do it in Sharpie. So I'm going to start, I'll start down at the bottom, and I'm going to add anywhere that I drew an angle, and these are kind of small, so I'm just making little tiny lines, and I'm using my Sharpie, and you can too. You can just directly use the Sharpie for this. You don't have to, like I said, use a pencil. Okay? What I don't want to see is this. I see some kids who do this. That's not making a shadow. Those are just making lines on the sides. You want to actually kind of go in and just make like little dashes. And they don't have to go all the way from edge to edge. They can just kind of be like quickly drawn in. Okay, so I have a rectangular 3D arm, so I'm going to add it to the sides here. Okay. You could even add a little shadow on the side of the hand, because this is like a sphere, so it's round. So I'm making a little roundish part there. And then I've got this part here. And I'm going to go the opposite way on this part, because I want this to be really dark on this side. This would be really dark over here. Okay? And then the top here, there'd be a little bit of a shadow here, so I'm just going to add a little bit. And then this is a cylinder. Anything that's round, just like when I was talking about the arm here, this is round and this is round. You want to add in curved lines, just like when we did the landscapes and we made those towers. If they were round, you add in some curved lines. Instead of it going straight across, you just kind of curve it. Okay? And then the head here, we need some shadows here. And some up here too. I'm going to make this top part really dark, because in my brain that would make sense. Of course you don't have to, so I'm going to go the other way too. Just to make this a little bit darker. These little antennas, they're kind of small. But if you look here in my example, I made just a little bit of shadow there, a little bit of shadow there. And you can also add in rivets. I just added these little circles. These are like little like nuts and bolts that are connected to the robot. So however you think, you can add those in. You don't certainly have to. But this is where I would like to get. The cylinders on the arms, if you did cylinder arms or legs, I would just leave them. You can always add in a little bit, but it's so tiny. If you'd really like to, you can. It would just be like that. But you can just leave it blank. You can leave it just white too, and paint it in. That's fine. Okay, so this is where we're at with our robot. Once it's completely done Sharpied, everything looks great, you can start painting. Okay? Up on the board, we're going to have the primary colors and the secondary colors, the warm colors and the cool colors. So I painted this robot with primary colors. Part of this project is figuring out which 3 colors you want to use. I'm sorry, you can't just go crazy and do all the colors. But there is a stipulation. If you choose the primary colors, we understand, I hope at this point by 3rd grade, that when you mix primary colors together, you get secondary colors. So with watercolor paints, they blend on their own a lot of times. You can see down at the bottom here, there's orange here, and there's green. I did not use orange and green paint for this. I only used red, yellow, and blue. But by putting some yellow paint down here, and then when I was painting with the red, it started to blend together, and it made this orange color. Same thing with the green on the foot. This foot was yellow, and I put some blue here, and it started to kind of blend in with each other. That's okay. These robots are going to have those blendy colors because we're using watercolor, not tempera. Same thing with, there's a little bit of purple. I see some purple here and some purple here. It's going to happen. So if you choose the primary colors, you're going to get the secondary colors in there too. So if that's what you want and you want all the colors, choose the primaries. I, on this one, chose just the secondary colors. So there is some blending in here. And then some parts look a little different. This looks like a little bit of a greenish brownish color because some of the green and orange blended together. That's just how it goes. It's going to happen. So don't worried. It kind of makes these robots look really unique. The warm colors and the cool colors, you can also use those as well. I'm going to have a little slide up that the substitute can flip to after this video, and it has the primaries, secondaries, warms, and cools. So if that slide is not working, then we can go over it together right now. Primaries, red, yellow, blue. Should I write them down? Let me get some paper and write it down for you. So if the slide doesn't work, I have to write backwards. Uh-oh. Because I'm doing this upside down. Red, let me write it and flip it. Yellow, blue equals primary. Orange, green, purple equals secondary. And then red, yellow, orange equals warm, and blue, green, and purple equals cool colors. So you decide. You can pick from these options, but you can only pick from these options as part of your grade. Sorry guys, you can't just go crazy and paint whatever colors you'd like. But like I said, if you want to use all the colors, then pick primary. You can still kind of blend and make some cool colors with it. Okay? So my goal by today is for you to have your robot drawn in, your robot Sharpied, which includes the shadows, and then try your best to get most of this painted. If you don't get done, it is fine. We'll work on it next time. Most of the kids got everything Sharpied and drawn, they got their shadows in, and they got most of their painting painted. Like I said, if you barely start painting, it's okay. We'll set another class on this, okay? So that's what I'm looking for this project. Hopefully I explained it well and you understand what we're doing, and I will see you later today. I just have a doctor's appointment, so I can't be here, so that's why I have this video. So have fun, and I can't wait to see you next Friday. Bye!